Hello and welcome back to the Champion Draft Series, here with a special interview with one of our competitors, TempoMaou. How you doing, Tempo?
Hey, Pinkos, I'm doing fantastic today. Thank you, and I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to dive straight into some of these questions, pick your brain a little bit as to how you've been approaching the draft thus far. Now, you were 6th pick in the draft, so not last, but a little far from first. What was your overall drafting strategy?
So I did notice that I was sandwiched in between. The way I saw it was that the first and last picks got the biggest advantage because they could grab 2 champs back to back to fulfill, whatever strategies they enjoyed. So being near the middle was pretty tricky to come up with a strategy. The thing I wanted to prioritize the most was comfort. I wanted to play decks from regions that I'm most familiar with, and this led me to picking up Misfortune first as my S tier slot, so I could play, Burn or Scouts with her depending on how the rest of the draft went. I had a long notepad of pick priorities actually, and I wanted to go through them, and I ended up getting most of the champs that I wanted, so the draft felt kind of easy since I was largely uncontested in what I wanted to do, so that was pretty nice. The last interesting strategy that I had was picking up Swain to give Noxus to my roster so that I could play some burn stuff, and also take Swain off the table in case anyone wanted to play control variants, right? So basically a double whammy.
Yeah, that certainly is a powerful play in just one pick. Absolutely. Now, like half of the competitors currently, you are 2-2, which is, it's still a very tight race. That's where most of the players are, with a few a little bit ahead, a few a little bit behind. Still anyone's game, really. But I wanted to ask you, what is your mindset when you are preparing for your matches?
So my mindset going into the next part of the CDS is to remain comfortable. I think I want to keep my lineup as consistent as possible with the way that I enjoy playing.
Copy that, copy that. Comfort is key, absolutely. Now, you've managed through your these powerful lists that you have brought and these champion combinations, you've managed to scare quite a number of the competitors with your lineup, but there are several champions that you have in your roster that have yet to be brought up into center stage. Do you think these are weaknesses in your roster? Did they just not have their time to shine yet? Or do you think that if they are weaknesses, that in this upcoming trade week that you might be able to amend them slightly?
Okay, so based on my current 3 decks that I enjoy playing, the biggest weakness to all of those is actually triple aggro, because they would get run over. Ash LeBlanc, Azir Aurelia, and then other aggro. They could just ban that and then run me over. So I'm pretty sure triple aggro is actually kind of a hard lineup for my opponents to reach, because from what I remember, most lineups looked mid-range and control focused. So depending on the person, I could bring out the champions and decks I haven't yet, like my Scuff to Deep. However, I think I'm just going to stick to my guns and keep my current 3 because they support each other and are relatively consistent while having a history of power. In terms of trades, I think a lot of people will be interested in Garen, since elites are at the forefront of the meta and his turn 5 swings are really strong. I'm not really looking for anything specific in trade week, because even if I turn my scuffed decks into full power ones, like my Scuffed Deep and also my Scuffed Dragons, even if they were at full power, they're both A, not better than my current decks, and also B, they don't really make my overall lineup better in the pick ban format. So I think I'm sticking with my current 3.
That is rather interesting. I know a lot of us here at the CDS were wondering why you were sticking with these 3 decks here, but it seems that you have quite a set strategy going forward in this, so can't wait to see if it pays off. We wanted to ask a little bit about your team name, Demon Diff. If some of the viewers might not be from a Tempo stream, wanted to see if you could give us a little insight into that team name.
Okay, so when I was coming up with my team name, I really like alliteration. I'm a big sucker for alliteration. I really like how that kind of stuff rolls off the tongue. It's easy to say. So I started with my brand identity being a Demon Lord. Then I use the other thing I really like for team names, and that is video game lingo. I love lingo and, Twitch emotes and stuff like that, and I say them daily, whether I'm talking to chat or to friends. So League of Legends lingo is especially funny to me since I've been part of the League culture since season 1. So I landed on Demon Diff because it was the first one to come to mind.
Quite a bit of history there. Yeah, season 1, that's impressive. I definitely joined in, I want to say like season 5 or something. So yeah, that is quite a bit of history there. Now, there are still several powerful opponents in the Champion Draft Series that you have yet to face. For your next opponent, our current second place holder, Puffball Panda, who's already a little bit ahead of the competition. And then you have yet to go through the Brazilian Gauntlet, our first place player, Mafraju, and Capitao Circuit. Quite a terrifying list of opponents to still face into. So I wanted to ask you, how confident are you going into these players?
Oh man, you're really hyping them up. Honestly, going into it, I was already kind of terrified. Now you're making it worse. They're all very strong players. But more importantly, they're all very well-rounded players too. So I feel like it's going to come down to preparation and luck. At the end of the day, it'll be a luck gap.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing those games. That's basically all the questions that we have for you today. But here at the Champion Draft Series, we keep a lot of attention on the champions, as this is the Champion Draft Series. And we have a lot of data. And I wanted to ask you a bit of a trivia question of your own performance in the series to see if you'd be able to guess it correctly. Now, which champion in your roster do you think you have leveled up the most?
Ooh, in my roster, probably Misfortune.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, final answer.
That is incorrect.
No.
The champion you have leveled up the most is Ashe.
Ashe, really?
Yeah, pretty much every game you've played Ashe, you managed to level her up. There was even one time where you used the LeBlanc mirror spell to get 2 level 2 Ashes. Frostbiting, I want to say it was Absol, the game versus Absol.
Oh, yeah, okay, I do remember that actually.
Pretty much every time that deck has been banned, you've been able to level up your Ashe so far. So currently sitting at 3 times in the whole series. All right, well, thank you again for coming here and letting us pick your brain a little bit. And we can't wait to see your performance in the rest of the series.
All right, thank you, Pink Ghost. Again, I really appreciate you having.
Appreciate you being here.